Chat 26 college football 26 is here, gang. College football 26 is here. Let's type into this reaction video. If y'all hear my little brothers in the background, ignore them.
The College Football 26 gameplay deep dive is finally here. Now, this video is sponsored by EA, as they did get me this information early so that I could get this video ready. I'm going to be breaking down the entire gameplay blog, which is pretty lengthy, but I'm going to try to sum it up as quickly as possible. And in the background, of course, you will see clips from the trailer playing. And if you don't want to miss out on the rest of the deep dives or the exclusive gameplay coming for this game in the coming weeks, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on, because you're not going to want to miss all this important info. So the first thing that the deep dive blog covers are the dynamic subs. No longer do you have to sub at the play call menu. You could do this on the fly on the field by pressing up on the D-pad. Then you can cycle players in and out by tapping left or right on the D-pad. And these substitutions will stick until you go in there and change them back. And you can also filter how you sub these players. So if you only want to look at offensive skill players, or just at linebackers, or just at the defensive line, you can do this. You'll also be able to see real-time health insights on the sub menu, like the wear and tear indicators. You'll also see the overall ratings of the players and their current effectiveness based on their wear and tear. Speaking of wear and tear, that was a very big addition to the game last year.
Yo, be quiet.
To it in a big way. They said before expanding on the system, the first priority was to address some of the tough to reproduce bugs while continuing to improve the balance. So they've cleaned up some of the bugs, and they've also adjusted every ability in the game to ensure accurate balancing around how each ability impacted wear and tear during hits and tackles. And they also answered some big community feedback around making it easier and more strategic to manage players based on wear and tear, because everybody plays different. So there are some auto sub settings that you can use. There's a default setting, which is just the standard CPU substitution logic. There is a keep fresh auto sub, which is inspired by real world rotation strategies like Michigan's frequent running back substitutions. There's a grind it out auto sub for teams that want to keep their best players on the field as long as possible. Players will push through being banged up and only sub out when absolutely necessary. And then there's a custom setting where you could sub based on the lowest health to specific body parts, giving you precise control. And then they go on to say how Dynasty players were some of the most passionate fans of the wear and tear system, but that they wanted to give you more control over it. So this year they've introduced a complete customization of the wear and tear. If you want increased damage from hit sticks or sacks, you can do that. If you prefer faster healing between quarters or during timeouts, you can set it like that. So now there's an in-depth settings menu for wear and tear, and you can completely customize it exactly to your liking, which I think is a great addition. And another new addition to wear and tear is that weather will also impact wear and tear, because they've had conversations with real coaches and players, and one thing that they all consistently brought up is how the weather will significantly impact your wear and tear in real life. So now that will happen in the game as well. They've also visually upgraded how you see this, especially for quarterbacks. It says if the health dips below 60%, you'll see it reflected in his pre-snap demeanor. He might roll his shoulders, shake out his arm, or gingerly kick out a sore leg as he approaches the line of scrimmage. Which is kind of cool, because if for whatever reason you're not paying attention to the wear and tear, your QB will give you a visual cue that something is wrong, and it might remind you to actually pay attention to it if you've lost sight of it. They've also adjusted the toughness rating. Last year, your toughness rating would determine how much damage a player took to a specific body part after contact. This year, they've taken that a step further. Now toughness affects recovery, dictating how quickly each body part heals over time as well. Moving on to abilities, they've done a decent amount of work with that this year, starting with the new archetype system. They've expanded it to add 10 brand new additions, each crafted to reflect a unique and electrifying skill set seen every Saturday. The archetypes are intentionally diverse, and no two share the same ability loadouts, and they said you'll hear more about that when they do the Dynasty deep dive. But one of the biggest changes now is something they're calling the out-of-body experience. It says they've redefined abilities to scale when a player gets hot. Momentum matters more than ever in the game. When a player starts to cook, their physical abilities receive substantial boost. If the player already holds a platinum tier ability, it automatically upgrades to the new Heisman tier, featuring enhanced effects and powerful new functionality directly inspired by player feedback. When this happens, a green flash around the player's icon signals a tier up, but conversely, if a player's performance drops, you'll see the red downward arrow indicating they've dropped a tier. So it's kind of like dynamic abilities now. If you're playing really good, in the moment, your ability can up tier to the next level.
It showed again. Okay. I thought battering ramp is a wear and tear thing that you put on the defense. Not I'm gonna run in between two niggas and break the tackle ability. What the fuck are we doing, EA?
Which will give them a bigger boost, because if you remember, you had bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, each one more effective than the previous. And now they've added Heisman on top of that. So in game, you can up tier or down tier your abilities based on your momentum, which I think is a pretty cool addition. They've also added some new offensive and defensive abilities. A couple that they touched on here was battering ram on offense, and this is exclusive to the contact-seeking archetype. So think of those running backs like in the NFL, for example, like Derrick Henry, who really wants to run you over. These ball carriers inflict increasing levels of wear and tear on defenders, provided they finish runs falling forward. And on the other side of the ball, they have the hammer ability, which is inspired by hard hitters like Ray Lewis. This gives you a higher chance to force fumbles on perfectly executed hit sticks. And they've also integrated the ability and wear and tear system on a different level this year. Each physical ability now categorizes into either upper or lower body, and as a player's wear and tear accumulates throughout the season, they can lose up to 2 tiers on the corresponding ability. So this just adds another layer of strategy of how you're managing players in Dynasty mode, for example. Moving on to playbooks, it says College Football 26 is delivering the single biggest playbook expansion in EA Sports history. 2,800 new plays and 45 new formations, all tuned to reflect the chaos, creativity, and pageantry that defines Saturday football. With the arrival of 300 real head coaches for the first time in the series, it says they knew that they had to be more than just a content drop. It had to be a true evolution. The playbooks are bigger and deeper than ever. They've increased the total capacity by over a third. Most offenses now feature 25 plus formations and 400 plus plays, giving you more tools to scheme, adapt, and dominate. It says you'll immediately notice a difference between Air Force's Flexbone DNA and USC's spread. From Miami's modern air raid to Iowa State's power spread, every team has a unique feel and every user has a real jumping off point to build or customize their identity. They've also added fresh concepts like Jet Power Read Toss, and Counter Bash. They've added new motion types like Reload, Bounce, Escort, and Boomerang to help you layer deception and keep defenses guessing.
Okay. All these playbooks and shit really not going to mean nothing if niggas is gonna run the same fucking play. Why sell PA snag all fucking year? At one bunch formation where everybody's on one side all year. That shit was annoying. EA, do something about it. Make the CPU play smarter if it repeats itself visually. If a nigga spams verts, allow my CPU to know, same play, same formation, run backwards. Get ready to pick this bitch off or come down. You feel me? Like, come on, gang.
These match the complexity of motion-heavy offenses like Kansas, Alabama, and James Madison. They've even added double motion plays. That means you can mimic the chess match seen in real life from programs like Georgia Tech and Penn State. They've also expanded the QB run and RPO variety. From old school veer reads and modern pop passes to sprint out options and design QB powers, your signal caller now has the full menu. Notre Dame, Utah, and dozens of other teams now feature playbooks where the quarterback truly runs the show. They've also added a ton of other stuff like smarter option routes, gadget packages by formations because of the new gadget depth chart position. If you put a player in the gadget depth chart slot, you can sub that player into specialized packages across multiple formations, whether he's taking a snap at Wildcat QB or motioning from slot to tailback. They've also added some signature looks from the real 2024 season, like Penn State's shotgun gate.
Now, right.
Penn State's swinging gate.
Right. As we can see, there's 2 over here. That means down said hut, quick screen, touchdown. It won't happen in IRL because you know the Buckeyes be on that shit. Down said hut, quick screen, touchdown. Nobody's catching Nick Singleton in this game, right? I hope he runs the play.
Wildcat do swing, Rice's pistol wingback, Western Kentucky's power Hulk, ECU.
Power Hulk. No, I seen the Rice play. The Rice play been replaying a couple of times. That Rice shit with the right quarterback, shotgun wing T, all game.
And Duke's wide off trap stack. Moving on to the quarterback play, precision, vision, and strategy. They've done a lot of work with something they're calling field vision, and they say height finally matters. And as a short king myself, I take offense to that. It says field vision factors in QB height, lineman size, and pocket proximity. Shorter QBs under center may lose sight of receivers behind tall linemen, causing icons to fade and accuracy to drop, just like in real life. Shotgun and pistol help offset this. To better reflect real-life QB play, it says that they've widened the gap between elite and lower-rated quarterbacks.
That still is a catchable ball. That tells me that EA still sucks dick when it comes to shit like that. Like, if it's going to be a bad ball, make it a bad ball. That is a catchable ball. He's just not going for it, and it's pissing me off.
Quarterbacks. Top QBs read defenses quickly and progress through targets efficiently, while lower tier QBs struggle with slower reads and limited progression.
Okay, it's the play I wanted to see. Okay, they sprinted over there, so it'll be caged. And this nigga ran 10 yards back. Yeah, bro.
Just
that
like
plays chopped dick.
Players in college. And I believe the awareness rating is what's going to play into this. They've also upgraded how the CPU recognizes blitzes. To counter last year's overuse of the double mug and cover zero blitzes, College Football 26 upgrades QB AI with smarter hot read system, better blitz recognition, and improved progression logic. High awareness QBs now respond to pressure like real life stars, making gameplay more balanced, strategic, and authentic. Now let's move over to the defensive side of the ball. They acknowledged that last year was explosive and wide open on offense, but they felt like they had to buff the defense up a little bit more because at the end of the day, defense wins championships.
Facts.
They've brought physics-based tackling to the game to bring more control, more realism, and more satisfying outcomes to every hit. In this year's game, better rated tacklers don't just win more, they win with impact. Timing, weight, speed, and angles now drive tackle variety from glancing hits to powerful stops. It's not just about how it looks, it's about how every tackle feels. They've added a bunch of new tackle types like wrap catch tackles for DBs who aren't heavy hitters. They have the ability to wrap up receivers securely at the catch point. They've also added new lunging tackles where you don't have to necessarily leave your feet to lunge out. You can make a controlled lunge while staying upright, adding another layer of realism to open field tackles. They've also added explosive hit stick animations to capture those thrilling real life moments when you see the ball carriers caught off guard. They've also done work with the timing of the tackles. It says timing and aiming mechanics from last year's hit stick tackles have been expanded to every one-on-one tackle scenario, including strips, cuts, lunges, wraps, swat catch tackles, and wrap catch tackles. By putting control directly into your hands, your skill as a player can significantly influence broken tackle outcomes, knockout strips, and forced fumbles. And they've also integrated similar timing on offense with trucking and stiff arming as well. They've made some core tackle improvements. This year, tackling upgrades go beyond animations. They capture the chaos, energy, and momentum of real college football. From game-changing sacks to tone-setting hits, defenses now feel as dynamic and impactful as the offenses they face. They've also done work with late hit throws to address unrealistic late second throws. Late attempts under pressure now lead to more sacks or riskier passes. Throws are aimed more realistically, increasing chances for catches or interceptions while rewarding strong pass rushes. They've also added realistic post-tackle movement. Post-tackle movement is now smooth and more realistic, making big collisions feel more disruptive and authentic. Hits also deliver better audio and more consistent wear and tear effects, adding to the impact. Moving away from tackling into the defensive line, stunts and twists are here. It says at the play call screen, you can hold the corresponding button on any play to open up a new submenu showing all available stunts and twists for that call. Custom tailor your pressure before you even break the huddle. There are 12 unique stunt types available, each designed to replicate real-life tactics used by top defensive coordinators. These aren't just cosmetic, they change the timing, angles, and matchup logic at the line of scrimmage. Now you can run designed pressures to force O-line communication errors, set up mismatches and late looping rushers, disrupt rhythm and pocket integrity, and bring true strategy to the trenches.
EA Sports is now promoting the loop blitz. Fuck you, EA.
They've also added something called block steering in the trenches. Once engaged, you can press the right trigger and the left stick to begin steering. You can steer an interaction in any direction based on strength and weight ratings, and most importantly, momentum. This works for both sides of the ball, whether you're a nose tackle trying to dent the A-gap or a pulling guard trying to drive a defender out of the way. There are 700 plus new animations in this system alone. Every push, turn, battle looks and feels different depending on who's involved. This also unlocks smarter play from AI linemen. Defensive players will now maintain their assigned gaps based on a play call and alignment, significantly limiting crashing or stunting blindly. Gap integrity matters more in today's game, and it finally matters in College 26. This year's blocking logic has also been re-engineered from the ground up, and that includes both run and pass protection. They've also improved the targeting system for blockers. It says schemes that now block with drastically improved clarity and accuracy include power, counter, trap, wham, duo, all veer variants, and midline concepts. They've also overhauled the impact block and collision wins. All the outcomes are based on weight class ratings and momentum differential. It's not just about being targeted, it's about how you arrive. And when it comes to passing, your offensive line will now make more intuitive decisions about who to block and when to block them based on immediate threats and overloads. There's also a pretty
Not gonna stop niggas from spamming mid blitz. Not gonna stop niggas from looping. Like, none. It's why I'm not gonna play online, bro. I'm posting straight Dynasty RTG content all year, gang. I ain't gonna lie.
cool mechanic that allows you to
I
untarget
lied.
defenders. You now have the ability to unassign a target. See a free defender you want to leave unblocked for a screen, you can now intentionally avoid targeting certain players. This gives advanced users the level of control they've been asking for. And really where this is big is when you're playing against online opponents and they try to mug the gap with a user who they're not going to rush, but they try to trick the offensive line to pay attention to them, which allows them to get free rushers in. Now if you notice somebody doing this, you can tell your line to untarget that user defender that's standing in the gap, so they will ignore him as if he's not a rushing threat, which will make them focus on the people who actually are rushing. They've also simplified slide protection, which I think is a huge addition. If you want to slide left, for example, just tap slide left plus right stick to the left. If you want a full slide, double flick the right stick. You'll have to kind of relearn the system, but you can just slide with the right stick now instead of having to press a whole bunch of buttons. And you can also now flip your pass protection the same way you flip a play pre-snap, just like in real football. Moving on to the secondary, they have added custom zones this year. Last year, they introduced custom stems that gave you the ability to adjust the depth and angle of your offensive route. So this year, they needed to cook up a counter for it. They said sometimes you want your seam flat to drop a little bit deeper, or you wish that your deep zone would sit just a little bit shallower to take away a dig route, for example. In College 26, you can now fine-tune the defensive zones just like you did with route stems, allowing you to strategically counter and neutralize any offense. They've also improved coverage in a variety of other ways. Smarter coverage reactions, more meaningful leverage battles, deeper risk versus reward mechanics, and the excitement and challenge of authentic one-on-one matchups. They've also introduced a route commit.
I hate to be that guy. He's in the purple, so he should be coming down. Watch what this nigga does.
And the excitement and challenge of authentic one-on-one matchups.
Buddy, you're supposed to be down here in this area, my nigga. Why are we still up top playing fucking safety? Tech down, all game. Free
They've also
eats.
introduced a route commit mechanic, which I think is going to be another huge addition. Now you can sell out on an in or out breaking route on a specific receiver, but if you guess wrong, they're probably going to cook you. However, if you guess right, you should completely shut them down. Moving on to main.
No more spamming Z cutouts and speed outs. Thank you. God damn these niggas. Bro, I lost multiple games in cut, bro. That's why I stopped playing that shit, bro. Z cuts out and speed outs from 10 yards away. What are we doing?
Defense, they said this year man-to-man is much more varied. Elite corners like Leonard Moore will mirror receivers closely, breaking with quicker timing that feels earned, not scripted. If you're facing top receivers like Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams, you'll still feel pressure, but the battle is fair. Winning means your leverage, timing, and positioning were all perfect. Losing means the receiver earned every inch of that separation. The improvement in man coverage means you can confidently call man, shade inside, use route commit, and feel like you're playing real football, not rolling dice. They've finally done work with the leverage game as well. Now when you align with inside or outside shade, it directly impacts your defender's ability to cover. If you hold inside leverage and the wide receiver runs a dig, you'll stay tight and compete aggressively. Lose leverage, you'll still be in the play, but you'll feel the urgency to close the gap. Shading coverage matters more than ever, pairing directly with route commit and leverage to create a complete defensive toolkit. Shade over the top, you'll gain cushion to protect deep, but you'll also see sharper cuts separate underneath. Shade underneath, you'll clamp down hard on short routes, but risk being burned vertically or by double moves. Now, another place that got an adjustment was something they're calling no eyes, no picks. It says,
Thank you, bro. I'm sorry, but this is gonna be the video. When I'm running, hold on. When I'm running and I'm playing, when I'm going to throw a fly ball against Leonard Moore or a 6'3" corner, and a nigga come out of nowhere like these, bro, no. He should not be catching the ball like this, gang. If he's not like that, like a wide receiver, bitch, he shouldn't touch the ball. This shit is aggravating me. I gotta go get my sheets from downstairs. But bro, if you're not on the quarterback, gang, if I throw the ball and you looking like this, no way in hell you catch a pick. No way in hell you catch a pick. No, absolutely not. I'm not going for it. Back to the video.
If he doesn't have eyes on the ball, he won't make those unrealistic blind leaps anymore. No backward acrobatic picks without vision.
Thank you.
Instead, defenders react late, fighting through the receiver's hands, trying to knock the ball loose rather than warping into perfect catch animations. It says when a DB is in a trail position, hips turned and running at full speed, you should feel more inclined to take a deep shot. You no longer have to wait until your receiver is 3 steps clear from breaking the jam. But when a DB does track the ball properly, you'll see that rewarded as well. Interceptions should feel earned, not gifted. It's a fair fight and an aspect that they are always seeking to improve. Now, I don't know if this is going to apply to user defenders or if this is just to CPU because they did not clarify that. Moving on with defense.
See, in the old game, 12 would have turned in the next coming of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and picked that bitch. He would have took that bitch for 6 too. It would have pissed me off.
Clarify that. Moving on with defense, they've also did some updates with the defensive playbooks as well. They've added new formations such as 3-4 tight, 3-3-5 flex, nickel single mug, and nickel 2-4 single mug, also nickel load and nickel 2-4 load. They've added a variety of new exotic and delayed.
I seen 3 loops off the rip. Oh my God, it's over with. Loop. Like,
blitzes
loop, bro. All they want to do is fucking send loopers.
Bracket plays, which includes 1 double slot, 1 double tight end, double bracket switch, and bracket switch Willie. But that's not all for the defense. There's more. Enhanced run fit logic. College Football 26's revamped run fit system ensures that defenders align and react with discipline, no matter the offensive scheme. Gaps are cleaner, assignments are smarter, and run defense is more consistent from start to finish. Linebackers and safeties. Second-level defenders now trigger faster and play more aggressively. Linebackers and safeties attack gaps with real physicality, bringing authentic downhill impact to every run stop. They've also done work with RPO integrity. RPO defense in College 26 now mirrors real football with built-in rules based on alignment and route action. Interior defenders play the run first while outside defenders read their key, reacting to routes or blocks for smarter, more realistic responses. College Football 26 also adds an RPO-specific coaching adjustment, letting you control how defenders handle the different RPO types and whether you want aggressive run fits or conservative pass-first coverage. So in other words, this should help cut down on the people that like to spam the bubble screen cheese with those RPO plays. You can now tell your defense to focus on that first. The run defense is also just smarter overall. Run defense in College 26 is faster, smarter, and more disciplined. With improved logic and tools, your defenders are built to hold up no matter the offense. Another great addition they made to defense were safety adjustments. Now you can adjust them pre-play, so you can adjust their depth. You can set them to close, you can keep them default, you can set them deep, or you could set them in prevent. You can also adjust the width. Default, you can spread them out, you can put them really wide, or you can pinch them in tight. You can also do midpoint shifts, like shifting them to the left or to the right, to the strong or weak side, or to the field or boundary side. They've also updated the show blitz mechanic to now allow you to only show blitz with the linebackers instead of the entire defense as a whole. Because sometimes when you show blitz, you don't want the entire defense coming forward, you just want the linebackers to. Now you can disguise coverages more, influence run fits, and fake pressure. They're also introducing real-time coaching 2.0. This is year 2 of the evolution of what they introduced last year to make teams call plays and do things like they would in real life. And one of the additions to this are delayed shifts. College Football 26 introduces delayed shifts, allowing defenses to disguise their moves with late rotations and post-audible shifts. Defenses now smarter recognize formation strength and run type, adjusting fronts and bringing pressure based on how and where you run. Expect quicker adjustments to stop dominant runners and seal cutback lanes. And for passing defense, they're introducing the 9-box, a spatial back-end intelligence system that tracks where you're passing. Using this, the defensive AI now understands not just where you're throwing, but also what you're throwing. The CPU knows if you're leaning on flood, mesh, or smash, and will start dialing up counters. This also powers a new layer of coach suggestions where concept counters are intelligently surfaced. If flood is killing a defense, look for a call that directly attacks the route combo, not just a generic zone shell. The goal is to give players access to the same in-game adjustments a real coordinator would consider. And here are some other little things they updated with the gameplay. They made a switch stick visual change, not sure what that means, maybe just how it looks on the field. They also added pre-play movement that was in Madden 25, and they made enhancements so you'll see defenders moving and communicating pre-play, which does make the game look a lot more realistic, I will say. They've also tuned pursuit, and you'll see the lower pursuit rated players unable to properly judge speed and track down players, while the better ones should pursue a lot better. CPU QBs will get out of fake.
That pursuit shit does not matter, nigga. I'm clicking on every time. If you are clicking off a little bitch, I hope it affects you every time, but I'm clicking on every time.
Earlier in play action. In the passing game, they extended the bullseye accuracy system from last year. In College 26, you will see a much wider range of slightly inaccurate and inaccurate passes. Expect to see a lot more bat down attempts from pass rushers. Linemen who gain leverage but can't reach the quarterback will actively try to knock the ball down. They've also made double move improvements to exploit the aggressive all-out blitz schemes. College 26 now enables quarterbacks to execute these routes more effectively. The improvement mirrors real-life scenarios where offensive coordinators strategically capitalize on overly aggressive or inexperienced defenders. They've also beefed up home field advantage. They've made it louder, tougher, and more personal. It says that they brought up
Made
the
that shit
intensity
way
of the
more
stadium
annoying,
pulse
too.
meter. It hits harder, it stretches deep.
Are we finally getting stadium pulse in the playoffs? That's the question. That shit is so stupid. You're playing in the biggest game of the other year, and there's no stadium pulse. Like, shit's just gonna be quiet, gang. Fuck no.
And it feels more alive. If you're
I
walking
need that
into the
screen to
wrong
shake
stadium
on
at the
both
wrong time,
sides.
be prepared for an experience that can break your spirit or forge legends. And this has really been beefed up for night games and rivalries. Now when you're on the road under the lights, it's a different kind of chaos. Away quarterbacks will struggle managing the clock, just like we've seen visiting QBs in the swamp lose their composure in crucial moments. Kicking becomes dramatically tougher, especially with the game on the line. And in rivalry matchups, expect more false starts, more broken communication, and more composure breakdowns. And they've even gone more in depth with this. They say where you line up matters for hot routing. So receivers who are lined up furthest away are going to be impacted the most by crowd noise. The deeper your route concept, the higher the risk of miscommunication and confusion.
That's valid.
Pre-snap adjustments feel situational exactly as they do on Saturdays. You'll think twice before checking at the line, and you'll work harder to maintain composure. But you can also silence the crowd more this year. When the visiting team pulls off a big play, specifically a gain of 20+ yards resulting in a first down, you'll temporarily quiet the stadium and pause home field advantage effects. But they've also made kicking even harder with home field advantage, and it was already pretty hard last year. It says the accuracy meter becomes completely transparent, the ball fades out as your kicker lines up, the power meter fills white, reducing your visual feedback. And lastly here, they did some updates to celebrations because a lot of people like to celebrate after they make big plays. It says alongside adding new celebrations and replacing some others, they're introducing the ability to walk or jog around after an interception or touchdown, giving you even more ways to celebrate your big moments. Now, I did get to play this game early at EA, and if you want my hands-on impressions of how the game plays, make sure to check out this video.
We're gonna watch that video next, but nigga, I get to walk around after a pick. Oh yeah, I'm all in the opposite team's face. Horns down, horns down, horns down, nigga. Link in the descriptions though. Y'all stay tapped in with us.